Dear friends and members of the KITION Planetarium Observatory, thank you for joining us for one more online science cafe. As you most probably know, the online science cafe is being hosted by the KITION Planetarium Observatory on the last Tuesday of every month. On this month, we're going to have the latest astronomy news. Of course, not all the news, but a couple of news that I have chosen today. And also we're going to talk about the best objects, the best events actually that we need to observe in this during this month in the night sky. So let's talk about a few astronomy news. Let's start first with the last news. Let's start with the Hunter's full moon that we had this full moon on Saturday, 28th of October, 2023. The KITION Planetarium Observatory celebrated this event, the Hunter's full moon, but the most important event, of course, was the partial lunar eclipse. And here's a picture that we took last night from our telescope, partial lunar eclipse. This was taken 10 minutes after the maximum, 11:24. It's a nice clear picture, and this was reposted worldwide by groups, NASA groups, the Astronomy Without Borders, Asteroid Day group, and World Space Week group. So thank you all for reposting our photo. So it was a nice experience. People gathered here. We had the last group. They observed. We did a lecture related to the moon and solar eclipses and lunar eclipses. We explained the partial lunar eclipse, and we took some photos, and people observed through our telescopes. So the next news comes from the science centers in the States. And this was published a couple of days ago. So we all had the theory, and we had the assumption, and actually early in the 1980s, the scientists uncovered some traces of asteroid dust at the Gulf of Mexico, and you see it on the picture. And there is the so-called Chicxulub crater. Chicxulub comes from an area nearby, and it's supposed on the circle is the center of the crater at the Gulf of Mexico, where it is said to be the place of impact of the asteroid that killed the dinosaur. So they have discovered some asteroid dust in this crater. It was also discovered around the globe in other places on the same geological layer that corresponds to the dinosaur extinction. And in the latest publication in the International Ocean Discovery Program 2 days ago, they have released their final thesis, and you can follow the link at the bottom right corner under the picture, and you can read all about it in details. So on this picture, you see a section of the rock core from the Chicxulub crater, in which researchers have found a concentration of iridium, which is a tracer for asteroid material, mixed with ash from the impact and ocean sediment. So these proofs come to add to the theories and the previous researchers. So is proving the theories. So the next and important news is news that are coming after a 7-year trip of OSIRIS-REx to asteroid Bennu. So traveling for 7 years from Earth to Bennu and back, OSIRIS-REx, a mission to this nearby asteroid, collected some samples that we are going to see today why they are important. So on this picture, you see scientists disassembling the hardware, but also examining from outside in a clean laboratory they don't want to bring any viruses or to infect it in any way what they have collected from this mission. So they are very, very careful with it. As you see, the scientist at the back is taking pictures of the samples and the science canister. Here you see on the left the science canister. When we talk about science canister, we are talking about the canister that actually touched the surface of the asteroid and collected the samples. And because of the type of conditions there, they carried with them air as well, and this air was used for the machinery, for our instruments, to act like a vacuum cleaner to absorb the samples. And on the bottom right, on the left picture, there is a rectangle, and this is magnified to the right, and you see that a lot of debris, a lot of dust from the black ashes from the comet were collected also on the outside of the canister. So we know that the scientists have collected more than they expected. Now, let's see what important findings we have from this mission. And this is from the presentation for the reveal of the sample from NASA 2 weeks ago. So they used electron microscopes. The reason is that it's much better quality, finer details with electron microscope than optical telescopes, because electrons have much shorter wavelengths, so they reveal fine details of the images. And we have here 4 pictures taken with electron microscopes. The top left one, A, is we see a picture of water-bearing clay fibers. So it's serpentine containing serpentine, which is water mineral, containing also trapped water in these minerals, and this also enhances the theory that water came to the Earth, Mars, and Venus in the early stages also from asteroids. This is what was said on the NASA presentation as well. So on the top right picture, we have sulfide mineral plates. You can see the hexagon in the picture. And the sulfides are needed for planetary evolution because it also determines how quickly things melt. And also from the biological aspect, some amino acids which give structure to proteins give sulfur to link and provide those bridges for the generation of life. And at the bottom, on the left and the right, iron oxide framboids on the left, and on the right, iron oxide plaquettes. And they are both magnetites. They react to magnetic fields, and this can be used also as catalyst for certain reactions. So here we have enough material that can be used for the evolution of life and planetary formation. And what NASA used up to now, they used X-ray computed tomography, like a CAT scan. So we can see inside the material, we can test the texture without even touching it, and we can see the distribution of the minerals inside the texture. And you can see on the left the mineral, and on the right the 3D image, and you can see the sulfide minerals, their position inside the sample. So in this way, we know where. If there's a place where there's a lot of concentrations, minerals, there's a place where we want to get some, it's a little bit different than the other parts of the sample, then we know with this X-ray computed tomography where to cut with our tools the sample, so we don't destroy it, because every time we cut it, we destroy some parts of it and we lose some grams of it, and therefore we need to protect it to have as much as possible concerts from the sample. So we know exactly where to cut and where to look for what we are looking for, the texture or distribution of minerals. Now, on this picture, on the left, picture A, and another 4 pictures on the right. Actually, picture A is the outside part of the canister that was used to collect the samples. On the top left is this rock, which NASA refers to as the troublemaker. Troublemaker because it made it difficult for the canister to close after collecting the samples. So this blocked, it actually blocked the entrance door of the samples to the main body of the instrument that was collecting the samples. So part C, you can see there different sizes and different reflectivity of ashes, and this is for them very important because they have to study it thoroughly to understand why it's that, etc. And D, it was described as a fractal, as if the samples have fractal nature. So all the patterns that they are repeated in smaller and bigger sizes on this rock. And on the right side, on E, you see 2 different types of rock. That means that there's 2 different, maybe different type of rocks, different material on this asteroid. So we are waiting for more information. And another very important finding is that almost 5% of it it consists of carbon, which is also needed for the life evolution. So it's really, really important. Here we see a visualization of the collection of the sun. This is real images of the sample collection. Of course, it was success. So it was a great success. As you see the visualization, part of it is real images from the FAMS camera from the Series Rex. And now something that came up today, it was already today, it was published on the 30th of October. Salts and organics observed on Ganymede surface by NASA's Juno. So the data collected by NASA's Juno mission indicates a briny past, maybe bubbling to the surface on Jupiter's largest moon. NASA's Juno mission has observed mineral salts and organic compounds on the surface of Jupiter's moon Ganymede. And the data for this discovery was collected by the Jovian Infrared Aurora Mapper, the JARAM, the JARAM spectrometer, aboard the spacecraft during a close flyby of the icy moon. The findings, which could help scientists better understand the origin of Ganymede and the composition of its deep ocean, were published on October the 30th in the journal Nature Astronomy. And here we see the first picture of Ganymede at the close of flyby, where it actually detected the presence of salt. And you can see also that it's bombarded, lots of craters. There's another one there similar to, it reminds me of Tycho on the moon. It looks similar to me. So, and this is another complex, it shows the complexity on the surface of Ganymede from another the closest approach actually in June 21, only 1,046 kilometers above the surface of Ganymede. So this information were released yesterday. So let's go to our night sky, which we have to protect and maintain the dark skies. Of course, with all this technology, it's difficult, but we need to preserve it as much as possible. And to conserve the nightlife, the biodiversity, but also the beauties of the night sky. Let's see the best objects, and most probably it's better to describe it as the best events, celestial events to observe in November. So in November the 3rd, we have Jupiter at opposition. This means that exactly 100 relative to the Earth is 180 degrees from the sun in the sky in the opposite direction. This will make it fully illuminated, very bright, and it will be also visible all night long, and it is the best time to observe this planet. So don't miss it. Still near the whole month, it will be near the opposition, so it's still a good very good month to observe planet Jupiter and its 4 moons called the Galilean moons. November the 4th and 5th, we have the peak of the Taurine meteor shower, which is it is described as a minor meteor shower. It produces only 5 to 10 meteors per hour, and it begins in September the 7th and lasts until December the 10th. Sorry, September the 7th until December the 10th, and it peaks after midnight the 4th until early morning the 5th of November. So there's viewing after midnight, and is good for those that they are brave enough to go out in the night at a remote location, who are not afraid of cold, and to observe this beautiful, if they are lucky to get a beautiful meteor. So the radiant is about the Taurus constellation, looking south after midnight. November the 9th. Yes, we have a beautiful event. It's good for good for astrophotographers, because they can take some nice pictures of the lunar occultation of Venus. So this event will be visible from Africa, Europe, and Greenland. And as you can see, while observing the moon, we'll have Venus, which will approach from the left, and after the moon will it will be covered by the moon, and then it will come out from the top right corner of the moon. So it's good for astrophotographers to observe, but also you can observe it with the naked eye. Most of the events, so this month, except Uranus that we are going to talk about it later, all of them are observable with the naked eye. So it's good for the general public, even if they don't have a telescope, or with a small pair of binoculars to observe it even better. November 13, new moon. So it's the best time for us to observe some faint objects like galaxies, star clusters, and nebula, since we don't have the interference of moonlight. So it's good for astrophotography of deep sky objects as well. November the 13th, we have Uranus at opposition, similar to the position of other planets. It will be fully illuminated, but you need a strong telescope to observe it, and it will be observed as a pale blue dot. But it's still the best time to observe these planets. Of course, not with the naked eye, as I mentioned earlier, with a strong telescope. November 17th and November 18th, actually after the midnight of November 17th, early morning 3 a.m. November 18th, we have the peak of the Leonids meteor shower. Actually, I love it for some reason, and it is my favorite after Perseids, because they're nice, cool nights without humidity. And if you really enjoy the night sky and there's no obstruction by the moon, then it's nice to observe these meteor showers. The moon will set early, so it will be good for observation after midnight. So the average, this is described as an average meteor shower because it produces up to 15 meteors per hour. Of course, our team will produce meteor shower observations. So keep in touch. We will announce it near when the time comes. Or contact us, observatory@sidanet.com.cy, or contact us in any way through the website or through an email or through the phone if you are interested to observe this phenomenon with our team and register your observations to the International Meteor Organization. We are the KITION Planetarium Observatory, is also a national point of contact for CYPRUS for fireballs. In case you observe a fireball, contact us or go to our website to the international projects International Meteor Organization and press the link to submit from there your fireball. We can guide you through this process. So this Leonids meteor shower begins on November the 6th and ends in November the 30th. The peak is after the midnight of 17th, early morning of 18th, and the region is near Leo. It's in Leo, that's why it's called Leonids. So it's good to look east after 3 a.m. early morning on the 18th. And don't forget the full moon on November the 27th, also called the Beaver Moon. And this comes from the Old Farmer's Almanac, and it's also known as Frosty Moon or Dark Moon. And this is the reason why it's called Beaver Moon is because the hunters, they used to set up the beaver traps before rivers froze at this time of the year. So don't forget that you can follow us on YouTube. Astronomy CYPRUS.eu, top right corner, you can press the YouTube link and you will be prompted to our YouTube channel. You can subscribe to receive all new videos uploaded on our YouTube channel. Don't forget the next Science Café, Tuesday, 28th of November, 2023, same time, 8 o'clock, Universal Time +2. Don't forget that we moved the clocks 1 hour back, so we are back to standard time. And don't forget that our online science meetings are free for everybody. So YouTube channel, you can see all our previous online science cafe. They are available there in Russian, English, and Greek language, some of them. Don't forget to connect with us and see you next month, last Tuesday of next month, Tuesday 28th, our next appointment. Thank you for joining.